What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Bad Doug back with another video. And in this video, we're going to talk about Doug Pederson being fired by the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, of course, I heard this news a while back, but, I do work a job, so I couldn't get on here and just do it when it broke. But obviously, I don't want to say important news for the New York Giants. Obviously, it does kind of affect us in one way or the other. I mean, we do play in their division, but it really wasn't for me to break anyway. I'm a New York Giants fan. Of course, I'm going to poke fun at the Philadelphia Eagles, and they are my most hated rival anyway, and a lot of Giants fans hate the Philadelphia Eagles. So, I mean, it's obviously makes sense for me to do a video on it, but again, to break it, that's really up to the Eagles content creators to do that. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to come on here and really bash the Philadelphia Eagles in any manner. I'm not going to sit there and poke fun at them or whatever. I am going to talk about their situation. A lot of Eagle fans just believe that, I'm just hating on them and everything else, and it's not the case. Like I said, I did a video 2 years ago, man, beginning of 2019. I said 2019 was boom or bust for the Eagles. 2019 was boom or bust. They were either going to win the Super Bowl or that was it. Their window was closing. I didn't think it would close this quick. I thought 2021 they were going to be in a lot more trouble. This year, they had a lot of injuries at the beginning of the year, and they never really recovered. They played really poorly. Carson Wentz has fallen off a cliff as far as his production's gone ever since he got that contract, and he hasn't been good. He didn't get along with the coach, and honestly, Frank Reich is the biggest reason that Carson Wentz has failed. There's no doubt in my mind that he misses Frank Reich. That's why there's been talks about him going to Indianapolis, but the fact of the matter is the Eagles can't trade him. They can't absorb the cap hit. Carson Wentz will be there next year. Maybe they can move on from him in a couple of years, but I think the Eagles are in trouble until that contract runs out. And the reason that I said this stuff is because of this, okay? I watched the Giants do this for years, and that's why we're in the situation we're in. And as I said, the Giants laid the blueprint for failure. The Eagles are following that blueprint, okay? Listen, Doug Pederson, to me, is a lousy head coach. He's always been a lousy head coach. Even the year he won the Super Bowl, I told Eagle fans I felt like they won in spite of him. The 2017 Eagles were a damn good team, and I swear that Doug Pederson made some really head-scratching decisions that were really stupid that just seemed to work out for him and for the Eagles. But you can only do that so many times. The honeymoon phase is going to wear off, and obviously he's made a lot of boneheaded decisions. I think it was against Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 4th and 4. They were down by 11. I think they were down by 11, if I'm not mistaken. And he could kick the field goal to make it a one-possession game. And instead he went for it on like 4th and 4 from the goal, 4th and goal from the 4, or 4th and 10 from the goal, whatever it was. It was a dumb decision. Like, he should have kicked the field goal, made it a one-possession game. Instead, he took a really low percentage shot, and it didn't succeed, and they ended up losing the game. I'm not going to talk about what he did against Washington the last game of the season. I don't really care. I've said it a number of times. We didn't win enough games, and it is what it is. That's not nobody's fault but the New York Giants. I don't know if that particular thing cost Doug Pederson his job. I believe that the Eagles were already set on him not coming back. And I believe that the Philadelphia Eagles needed a fall guy, and he's the guy. What this means for Howie Roseman and the rest of the front office going forward, I have no idea. I'm not a Philadelphia Eagles fan. I really know what Eagles fans feel about Howie Roseman. They used to love him, and now they probably hate him. It's the same thing with the New York Giants. We used to love Jerry Reese. First couple of years here, we thought Reese was the best. We used to say, in Reese we trust. And then he started to draft really poorly and make really stupid decisions, kind of like what Howie Roseman's doing, kind of why the Eagles are starting to be a really poor franchise, a really bad team, because of really bad drafts. That'll put you behind the 8 ball all day, every day, when you can't draft, because with a salary cap, you have to build your team through the draft, and when you continue to miss players, you cannot fill positions by paying them. That's not how it works in the NFL. In baseball, you can get away with it. There's no salary cap in baseball. There's a luxury tax. But still, there's no salary cap issue. Howie Roseman has put the Eagles in a really bad spot. It really had nothing to do with Doug Pederson. He's just a bad coach. He is the fall guy so far. Does that mean Howie Roseman's going to leave? If the Philadelphia Eagles are smart, they'll can his ass too. Howie Roseman needs to go. The biggest mistake that the New York Giants made when they fired Tom Coughlin in 2015 was not getting rid of Jerry Reese as well. You need to start over fresh with a general manager who can bring in his own guys. And that's really what it should have been. It should not have been, the same general manager and a different coaching staff. They should all be wiped clean at that point. Because a lot of times, Tom Coughlin was not a bad head coach. Tom Coughlin ended up with no talent. That's what happened Doug Pederson was a bad coach that won games because the Eagles had talent. Now that talent's starting to get older. It's starting to age. Your quarterback ain't playing well, and you had some injuries. And you can't cover it up anymore. That's why they're so bad, and they will continue to be bad. You can go back. I have a video on my page. It's from way back when, and I talked about this is when they hired Ben McAdoo, and the Giants hired Ben McAdoo. I had a rant, and in the video, I say it's going to take the New York Giants 5 years before they get out of this rut. Well, it's been 5 years now, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 2021, I do expect the Giants to be a better team next year. I do. But again, the Giants have alternated head coaches and GMs. We did that with McAdoo. Obviously, when McAdoo was there, they wiped the slate clean. Then they brought in Gettleman. Then they fired Sherman. Gettleman is still here. And now we have Joe Judge. There was talk about Dave Gettleman maybe losing his job. I'm kind of glad that he didn't. I just kind of want everything to be in place. I want some stability here. If the Eagles are smart, they'll get rid of Howie Roseman and look for a new GM, because if they keep Howie Roseman on there, they're going to continue to be a poor franchise. I personally want Howie Roseman to stay. I think they should give Howie Roseman a long-term deal. I thought Doug Pederson deserved a long-term deal as a Giants fan. But if we're being serious as a football fan and looking at that organization as a football fan and not a guy who absolutely detests and hates that franchise with every fiber of his being. I hate the Eagles. I hate their fan base. I hate how stupid some of them are, making excuses for what they did against Washington and talking about how it's the same thing as what Pittsburgh did. It ain't the same thing as what Pittsburgh did. And look at what it got Pittsburgh. Look at what it got Pittsburgh resting their players, man. I go back to 2007 with the New York Giants. They had no reason to play their guys last game of the season. They played their guys. They lost, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. It's not the same thing. But I digress. Okay, if the Philadelphia Eagles as an organization are smart, they'll move on from Howie Roseman. They'll bring in a new GM. The first couple years still ain't going to be easy because, again, whoever comes in here as a head coach or a GM or both has got to take over an absolute disaster with the cap and a bunch of guys that are at the back end of their careers getting paid a boatload of money with salary cap hits dead cap hits that you just can't overlook. You got a quarterback that you just gave $128 million to. He's riding the bench in favor of a second-round quarterback who you're old head coach Doug Pederson may have shattered his confidence by putting Nate Sudfeld in there. You can say whatever you want. You can say he was throwing the game. You can say he was tanking. You can say whatever you like about that. But the fact of the matter is the Eagles did have a legitimate opportunity to win that game. Only down by 3 in the fourth quarter with the guy as a rookie, and you should have at least given him the chance to try to win. You might not have won the game, and again, as a Giants fan, you can sit there and say, oh, you're crying. I'm not. As a football fan, I'm saying you should have at least given the rookie the chance to let him see what he's made of. Why don't you see what the guy's made of and see if he has the pedigree to come back and win a game? That's a good time to test it right there. When it really doesn't mean anything, that's a good time to test Jalen Hurts' resolve and see if he can come back and lead you to a victory. That's what should have happened in that game. Whether they won or lost, it should have happened that way. And again, you can sit there and say I'm saying that because I'm a Giants fan. I'm talking as a football fan in this video. Otherwise, I wouldn't be telling the Eagles and what I think they should do as far as giving them good advice. Because again, as a Giants fan, I've seen what this does. When you have a bad head coach, you fire the head coach, keep the GM on. The GM has done a poor job the last few years, and that's why you're in the rut that you're in. So I'm not talking as a Giants fan. I'm talking about what Doug Pederson could have done to that locker room. And again, maybe a new coach comes in here and the players, maybe they fight hard for him. Maybe they hire a Joe Judge type of guy who the players believe in and they fight hard for him. But at the same time, there's not a lot of talent there. And again, you're not going to be able to bring in a lot of talent. So can't miss the draft. We all know Howie Roseman's missed the last few years. You got the 6th pick in the draft. If Howie Roseman misses on that one, it's just going to continue to spiral out of control. It's an interesting thing. I don't think it takes anybody by surprise that Doug Pederson got fired, but I think the big thing for the Philadelphia Eagles is, and I don't think anybody's hurt. I don't think any Philadelphia Eagles fans' feelings are hurt that they got rid of their coach, especially after the year that they just had, and you could kind of see the decline. I will say I do believe Doug Pederson had his best coaching job last year when the Eagles really didn't have a lot, and they still ended up winning this division, although they were only 9-7. But he was really bad this year. I feel like he lost that locker room. I feel like the players didn't believe in him. I think it was definitely time for him to go. But if the Philadelphia Eagles are smart, and I don't know how their fan base feels, get rid of Howie Roseman and start the whole thing. That's what you should do. As a Giants fan, hey, keep Howie Roseman on. I hope he drafts another busted number 6 and you continue to suck for years. That's what I want. But as I said, as a guy that's just looking at this as a football fan, a guy that's watched it happen to his franchise, Eagles will be smart to wipe the slate clean and start all over with a new GM and a new coaching staff. That's what they should do. We'll see if that's what they do. Let me know what you think in the comments section. That's all I got in this video. As always, I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe, please like, and I'll see you next time. It's Bad Diggity Dizzle, and I'm gone. Peace!